Crytek just made a response about the cheaters. Let's get into it.
Hi, I'm David Fifield, the General Manager for the Hunt franchise. We're here to discuss our Fair Play Task Force, what they've been up to, and what's in the works going forward. Our Fair Play Task Force formed this past winter after some new hires were brought up to speed on the current lay of the land.
I think I've said this before, but I do really wonder what they've been doing since last winter.
The first step they took was upgrading Hunt from an older basic form of easy anti-cheat to a more modern level of protection through Epic online services.
Now, I went back and I looked at when I was catching a lot of cheaters and when I pretty much stopped. I was catching cheaters constantly all the way into February. So if they did something, I don't know, he said winter, I was catching them well into February. So I don't know.
This upgrade also brought us the capacity for more rapid updates going forward as new cheats are identified and need to be blocked. This is by no means a silver bullet solution, but rather our first step in our plans to heighten protection and have more agility to counter threats as we move forward.
Buzzwords.
Something else our task force has worked on is investigating and disabling some local file manipulations. The first manipulation removed was the ability to turn off shadows to gain unfair advantage over,
which I made a video about.
The next exploit countered was the ability for players to disable on-screen rendering of the hunter's weapons or hands. While this feature was initially created to support content creators and fan videos, it was too much of a liability when used for unfair advantages during competitive play.
How about just have it like enabled in the shooting range and disabled during actual real games? How about that?
A related and open topic currently under equal scrutiny is the NVIDIA Profile Inspector. While we are actively evaluating if the impact is significant enough to broadly label it an exploit, we can say that the use of the Profile Inspector is detectable, and in obvious cases of abuse, we are already taking action on those offenders.
Okay, this is where it gets good. What is the Profile Inspector? You can basically turn down the graphics to even lower quality than what's possible in the menus. It makes it so you can make the in-game quality even less, and it makes the game just look like a bunch of blobs. Might not sound like a good thing. I haven't used it myself, but yeah, it's weird. Yeah. Oh, you know what? I think the way you sort of gain an advantage by it is all the bushes and shit turn into like big blobs, which make it easier to sort of see through them or something. I don't know exactly. That's probably wrong. Don't put that in the video.
We are revisiting the ping limits and intend to make them more stringent, both in terms of the servers you're allowed to launch into and the servers you're allowed to cross over to when matching with friends. These new limits will have an upper boundary that groups are not allowed to cross. Our intention is to keep matches as fair as possible while still allowing friends to game together. However, if you are on opposite sides of the world, you may no longer be able to play with specific friends after these upcoming changes.
Yes! You know why that makes me so happy is because all of the little like Discord and Reddit moderators who have always said, ping doesn't matter, it's okay, there's nothing, it's no big deal, it's fine. And this is them going completely against that.
Our intention is to keep matches as fair as possible while still...
See, they want to keep it fair, and that's why they're doing this. They want it to be fair. So what does that mean? That means the way that it currently works is not fair.
Allowing friends to game together. However, if you are on opposite sides of the world, you may no longer be able to play with specific friends after these upcoming changes.
Here, everyone that plays in regions where you always play in other regions, you know who I'm talking about. You're probably not gonna like this, but what you should do is probably go play another game that isn't so dependent on your ping, on milliseconds. You should go play a game like Monopoly or some PvE game where ping doesn't really matter, instead of FPS PvP game where ping absolutely matters. Don't be mad at me. The devs are literally siding with me now. They're saying it does matter, and they're doing this to keep the game fair. That's a slam dunk on everybody who has always said that ping doesn't matter.
When a date and new limits are established, we will share them through our social channels. This summer, we are increasing the number of available servers in overloaded regions, as well as revising the back-end traffic patterns for cross-region players. This is not going to result in a hard region lock as some players call for, but we do expect it to lower the frequency of facing opponents in your local regions who have high pings and are playing from far-off connections.
We'll see. Reporting.
First of all, please use the in-game reporting tools. They are reviewed daily, and the information in
I can't pretend to know what they do internally with the reports, but just hearing them say it's maybe they change the way stuff works, because we've even had somebody who I'm not going to name, we've even had somebody in chat say use the third party, the website reporting method, and this method doesn't work as much. But maybe they change the way they do it. That's possible. Maybe they change, you know, how they work internally.
Those reports serves as the foundation of regular actions taken by the customer service and fair play task force members. Many future initiatives will look at the database of all reports across time as the backbone for a healthier system going forward. Please avoid rage reporting opponents who simply outplayed you, got a lucky shot, or executed a skillful wall bang. If you're unsure, spectate your opponent for clear evidence of cheating before you report.
Oh, spectate? Oh, spectate? Oh, that's funny.
We understand this is a delicate topic, but the most helpful reports are the ones that state facts and not opinions. Please pay yourself and our
Why does it seem like he's holding back a big ass like chuckle? Look at his face.
State facts and not opinions. Please pay yourself and our staff the respect of being as precise and to the point as you can without devolving into toxic commentary. A recent exploit to put certain characters in your game ID to prevent reporting has also been identified.
Wait, hang on, go back on that one. What did you call it? What did you call it one more time? What did you call it?
Commentary. A recent exploit.
A recent exploit, you say? Oh, wasn't there a bunch of Crytek partners that were doing that? Exploiting to put certain characters in their name to make it so their name was blank? Wait, what?
Put certain characters in your game ID to prevent reporting has also been identified.
Whoa, let's see if they cover the other thing.
We're prioritizing this issue, and when ready, we will deploy a back-end fix with no client update needed to remove any such characters from existing IDs, as well as prevent their future use. Beyond in-game reporting, if you have a desire in the means
they didn't cover the other name thing.
Please do send your reports to customer support. Videos are, of course, the best form of proof to offer, along with succinct details of the mission. If you report through customer service and include your own game ID, the exact time, the time zone, and the server region in which the incident occurred, we can pull all the relevant data, regardless of hidden statistics or player name manipulations.
Okay, so they didn't go over the no platform account thing either. That doesn't mean they fixed it or they didn't fix it. But all he said right here was, okay, so imagine just putting your name as a space. If you just put your name as a space, Steam changes it to say it's just blank. But there are certain characters that are a blank space, but it's not the standard like spacebar space. What some people were doing was they would take one of those special characters and put it in their name so it just shows up as a blank space. What he doesn't cover is the no platform account thing, which maybe he doesn't want to, I don't know. I'm pretty sure that still exists, but he did not cover that one.
ID to prevent reporting has also been identified.
Which that was in the cheater video too, obviously. Okay, and this other thing, this other reporting, I guess it's not necessarily a bad thing to just have another, like an even more in-depth way to report, but their go-to response for a long time has been go make a ticket and report it manually. Imagine any other game that is just straight up telling you go to this website and you have to give all of this information just to report somebody that's cheating. It's like, you're definitely going above and beyond, like he says, but like the in-game reporting should be able to do all of this on its own. And I don't think people should have to go out of their way, go onto a website, list all this stuff, give their birthday and social security number just to report somebody that's cheating.
In which the incident occurred. We can pull all the relevant data, regardless of hidden statistics or player name manipulations. We know that for many of you, the system feels like a black box you never hear back from. For this reason, an automated system is in development to report certain actions back to you related to in-game reporting, such as suspensions or bans put into effect on offending accounts if the report was considered legitimate and acted on. Apart from the automated system, we will also resume publicly publishing ban waive report statistics like we've done in the past.
This gets interesting. Watch.
We are well aware of the controversies around players being allowed to hide their profile data. While their platform ID may not always be available to you as players, the in-game reporting system from the team detail screen does not require you to know the platform ID to make a report. There is still a gap with the in-game reporting system where you can't report a player that you've merely spectated. some interaction is required. We're investigating closing that gap, but do not have an immediate solution to announce yet.
I mean, they could, okay, that's not the interesting part, but they could make it to where when you're spectating somebody in game, there's a report button right next to their name.
Additionally, the previously client-side attributes file was removed after some legal complications.
We talked about this in the cheater video, and I think this is going to be a nearly direct response to that part of my video.
EU GDPR.
This is the interesting part.
Player data and consent for that data to be published is an evolving topic, and it won't always be immediately clear what the motives are for complaints. Regulations concerning personal data are a hot legal topic, so ultimately the file has been removed from client-side access and will not be returning.
Let's think. What data were we getting from the attributes file? As far as I know, it was in-game stats, like your MMR and your Steam name. That is it. Is that covered? I don't know. I'm no GDPR legal expert, but is that like, here's the interesting part. Going back to what they said about feedback on reports, they're going to be telling you when someone that you reported gets banned. Listen to this again.
An automated system is in development to report certain actions back to you related to in-game reporting, such as suspensions or bans put into effect on offending accounts if the report was considered legitimate and acted on.
So wait, so they're gonna tell me information about the account that I reported? Isn't that potentially breaking GDPR, whatever? Another discussion that came about after I put out those cheater videos was the reason they don't do exactly this was because of the GDPR, whatever. They said, we don't publish that and we don't tell you when something happened because of GDPR and privacy and all that. So now they're bringing it back. They're contradicting themselves so many times. And another way they're even contradicting themselves is, do you guys remember when they initially removed the attributes file? It was because it wasn't because of GDPR. They said players were complaining about it, not because of GDPR. And don't say they were complaining because of GDPR. Their official statement was not because of GDPR privacy laws. They said players are concerned about their whatever. It was player complaints, not GDPR legal reasons.
Apart from the automated system, we will also resume publicly publishing ban wave report statistics.
Okay, and another thing, I guess if, let's say somebody's counter argument is like, oh, if you report profiles and it just says someone got banned, but it doesn't say specifically who, what if I only report one person? Wouldn't that obviously mean the one person that I reported got banned? I'm sure you don't want to mess with the European laws. I'm saying I'm just curious exactly what is covered in that. Because if you just say privacy laws, privacy, GDPR, everything's covered, and I'd be curious to see exactly how it's phrased in the law.
With that in mind, we will make fair play an ongoing topic for announcements and updates, coming back quarterly with news and plans around the issues, as well as the results we are navigating with the Fair Play Task Force.
Let's look it up. I'll do a quick look. European Union regulation. I know what I'm going to do. Copy, paste, insert into ChatGPT. Summarize this in a way that is easy to understand. Requires a process for storing personal data, which makes it so that data can't be linked to a specific person without extra information. Sensitive data is replaced with non-sensitive tokens that stand in for the original data. I guess it also depends what does a specific person mean? Does that mean if it's just some random Steam account? I'm just thinking also broadly and hypothetically. What does a specific person mean? If you can link something to a specific Steam account, but that Steam account doesn't link specifically to a person directly, like it doesn't say their name, what is considered a specific person? Helps protect individuals' privacy and assist organizations in meeting their data protection responsibilities. That basically covers everything, and how to, like, that's where it becomes dumb. Okay, that was this week's. We actually didn't react to the previous week's, so let's go see what the previous week's video was.
Hello, I'm Dennis Schwartz, the design director for Hunt Showdown. Today we're going to talk about our key learnings from player surveys, community feedback, and data gathered over the course of our last 5 events. These lessons continuously shape our thinking for future events, packs, traits, weapons, and other mechanics.
Bring David back.
Thank you for your contributions to them. Let's start with a brief recap. First, let's talk about Devil's Moon. This event pushed the boundaries of our game by adding the element of choice between pacts and exclusive traits. This first round of pact traits were designed to shake up the gameplay experience and experiment with new mechanics. Devil's Moon also brought with it our very first wildcard condition, the Inferno. though it also predated our first wildcard contract, which didn't appear until Tide of Shadows.
I mean, we kind of figured out that they were just throwing things into the events to see what people liked and didn't like, which was fine. But yeah, we kind of figured that out.
The design goal is to have an even distribution of pick rate for our event pacts, but we missed the mark with Devil's Moon, as the grounded pact, which featured both Shadow and Death Cheat, made up 85% of our total usage.
I do like that they're saying, hey, here's what we did wrong. That's a good thing. Where there was a big, long silence in their communication, if they had just did maybe one of these once a month or something, that would be good, instead of radio silence for months and months and months.
The Lunar Pact made up 10%, and the Infernal Pact only had a 5% pick rate. This wasn't a great result in terms of distribution, but the experiment and overall play experience was still judged a win for Hunt, and good lessons were learned. Similarly, our new wildcard condition, the Inferno, changed our existing maps radically, which was initially well received but resulted in some fatigue as the event went on.
I think that's also true for the other ones, not just that one.
Since then, we've learned a lot of valuable lessons about players' preferences in accessing wildcard conditions, and received similar feedback for Thunder Shower, the Dark Inferno, and Ash Bloom. With each update, we will tune and adjust the frequency of these conditions appearing and their impact on the play space and game mechanics. Moving into the Tide event trilogy, our goal was to better understand your level of satisfaction with the events and new additions being made. Alongside usage statistics and tons of great feedback we gathered from social media, we began publishing 2 public surveys for each event. Tide of Shadows was the first event we ran surveys for, and we received well over 20,000 responses.
I've said to everybody that these surveys are actually really good and that you should participate in them, because if they're asking specifically for your opinion, our opinion, we should give it to them so they can do things more based off of our opinions. That's a good thing. You should participate in the surveys. I guess the only thing sort of critique I've heard people say is surveys only last for like 3 days, and a lot of people didn't even know that they existed until it was too late. So maybe they could make them last a little longer.
We embrace and rely on your feedback on events, weapons, wildcard conditions, and game mechanics to help us make Hunt Showdown the best game it can be. Please continue to take part in surveys and reach out via our official Discord and other social media channels to share your thoughts. The 3 event pacts on Tide of Shadows received a healthy distribution of usage compared to Devil's Moon, but still had room for improvement. This time around, we made sure that Death Cheat was available to all pacts. We also experimented with different configurations of pacts and how to pledge for them at supply points.
Yeah, Death Cheat being available to all packs makes me think that's going to be a thing, like just a standard. Wait, Death Cheat? No, they turned it into a, what's it called, didn't they? Never mind. They already did that.
In general, we kept what worked and left what didn't. So every event had something new to offer, but we also had some old favorites come back for more. Eventually, some of these experiments turned into full, long-lasting additions to the core game. As the live events progressed, data showed that in some cases we matched our own expectations, while in others, certain packs dominated in usage. Sometimes they started out with a healthy split before one pact emerged to come out on top, like in Tide of Corruption, when the Infernal Pact took over the lead at 49% usage, while the Death Pact at 27% and the Demented Pact at 24%. In other cases, like during Tide of Desolation, we saw some normalization between pacts only halfway through the event, with the Grounded Pact starting out as the strongest pick with 60% before dropping down to 38%. As far as pact rates go, Shadow Leap specifically was very successful in providing exciting new gameplay mechanics without disrupting the core of the game too much.
I wonder how they measured that. Shadow Leap was a very wildly different thing that we've never seen before at all in any way, shape, or form. So I wonder how they measured that.
Shadow Leap specifically was very successful in providing exciting new gameplay mechanics without disrupting the core of the game too much.
Without disrupting the core of the game too much. I
We want
wonder.
to experiment more with new ideas like Shadow Leap moving forward. All in all, there is always room for improvement, but we continue to take your feedback seriously and iterate on the power of our unique pact rates going forward, as well as honing in on pact versus pact balance in general. Our live events have traditionally been a great way for us to introduce new weapons and equipment into the game. Some of these have turned out to be great additions out of the box, while others struggle to find their place in the arsenal. Among the best received weapons were the Drilling, the Pax True Shot and the Bornheim Silencer, as well as the Baseball Bat and the Katana. Both the Marathon and Mako have also been solid additions, even if some of their variants are not in widespread use, and their survey scores reinforced them being less popular.
I like how they show the Mako Talon when they're talking about the weapons that aren't widely used yet, which is true. I don't think you see those very often.
Less successful additions were the Upper Mat, Derringer,
Upper Mat, maybe it's not super common, I guess.
Penny Shot, Vetterli Cyclone, the Fire Beetle.
Yeah, didn't they buff the Vetterli Cyclone? Didn't they buff it?
Shot, Vetterli Cyclone.
I could swear they buffed it. What did they do? They gave it like less sway or less recoil.
The Fire Beetle and the Dolch variants in custom.
Yeah, that was not a good idea, by the way. Who wanted more Dolches, dude? Come on, nobody.
These additions further and touched most of them up again for August release. In review, we acknowledge there's an oversaturation of custom ammo in our arsenal.
Wait. Let me hear that one more time.
We acknowledge there's an oversaturation of custom ammo in our arsenal.
Yeah, one more time.
We acknowledge there's an oversaturation of custom ammo in our arsenal.
Ah, yes, thank you. I've been saying that since custom ammo was released. I don't think they're going to remove all of it, obviously, but custom ammo is ridiculous.
Moving forward, we'll take steps to address this by first reducing the amount of new custom ammo types introduced during events, and secondly, by rotating more options in and out with future updates to help shake things up and encourage players to try out different combinations. We clearly don't need further Dolch ammo added to the game anytime soon, and are considering removal of some that are currently there.
Yes, please!
In terms of things well loved by players, weapon inspection first appeared in Tide of Corruption with overwhelmingly positive scores. This was expected given how long the request for this feature had been coming in from the community.
They expected the positive response to the weapon inspects given how long the request for this feature had been coming from the community. You mean like a 2D map replay maybe? Or even like a reasonable ping cap, which we already talked about. You mean those kind of requests from the community? Yeah, those things might be also very positively received.
Our first wild target, Roger, was initially received as only okay, but data gathered from the second survey showed that by the end of the event, she was more appreciated with a good overall satisfaction rate.
Roger experience satisfaction, visualization. Overall, how dissatisfied or satisfied are you by the new wild target Roger? Very dissatisfied, dissatisfied, neither satisfied or very satisfied. See, if they put this data out every time they do a survey, that would be good. That's a good communication thing. Let us know the results of our surveys. We want to know, because I'm curious. Every time I'm taking a survey, I'm curious, so just show us. I'm glad that they put this out, but I want to see all the other stuff too. It's just part of the like little communication back and forth thing that we should be having. I think that would be good communication.
Notably, the groups who had the biggest change in sentiment over Roger were the ones that included players who've played less than 500 hours of Hunt. Lessons learned around Roger have led to some improvements for future wild targets, their potential rewards as side objectives, and the overall difficulty of defeating them. Desolation's Wake also introduced the concept of pledge marks being used to unlock sealed rewards found in the world. Sealed rewards have been very well received. Specifically, the full health restoration, master clue, bounty token for pledge marks, and the sealed cash registers scored high on our last survey. This encouraging result has us looking to expand and refine the mechanics for sealed rewards, which you can hear more about when we come back to discuss the lead up to our next event, which goes live with the engine upgrade on.
Yeah, by the way, this is obviously saying next event plus engine update plus new map. I think all on the same day. I think they said the new map is also on that date. So that's going to be a big day. And they really better hope whoever they got for Q&A, they really better hope they're doing their job, because oh man, we can also talk about, there were some updates, right? There was the last few updates. Let's go back in time just a little bit. Event survey. Other latest event has come to a close with the Desolation's Wake over. Okay, so it ended. Here's what happened. So they said the event is coming to an end. The live servers will go offline. Estimated downtime 3 hours. Okay, good. Servers came back. Hey, here it is. Boom. We identified a bug in today's patch which requires changes to the standard contract, blah, blah, blah. What that did, what the bug or what they did in response to that is that's why for a long time we had only single boss maps, and it was only daytime and night and none of the other times of day. So there was a bug when they ended the last event and brought the servers back to normal. In response to that, that's why there was only the day, single boss, and night. Then, a little while after that, I think it was a few weeks, we'll be deploying a hotfix to restore the low visibility times. Not awesome. Estimated downtime 3.5 hours. Boom, it came out. Servers are back online. Thank you for your patience. Oh, we identified an error in the recent hotfix and we'll be reverting it to its previous state. So it went event, then it was non-event, and there was bugs, so they had to revert it. Then a few weeks went by, they had a fix, took the servers down, brought them back because they thought they fixed it, but they didn't fix it. So all of this is for me to say, whoever they got going for QA right now is clearly not doing their job. And you better hope when this day comes around, you better hope they actually did their job, because you got the engine update, you got the event and you got the map coming all on that day. So you better hope that person actually did their job, because it sure seems like they're not.
15th August. Our current weekly challenge system has yet to meet player expectations since being introduced in Devil's Moon. The weekly challenge system suffers from 3 main problems. First, if you're unable to play for a week during the event, then you miss out on that week of event points, which is quite punishing. Next, completing a weekly challenge set requires players to constantly adjust their loadout and playstyle, which starts to feel like a chore after a handful of challenges. Lastly, certain challenges require specific custom ammo, which new players and prestige players might not have unlocked yet. We want you to know the pain points here have been clearly identified. We will discuss our changes to the weekly challenge system in a future video addressing these primary complaints. For years, our players have asked for more ways to restore their lost chunks of health during a mission. As a result, we've experimented with different ways of restoring health.
I'm curious what players. Who has? For years, our players have been asking. Who, though? Is it experienced long-term players, or is it new players that want the game to be easier?
As a result, we've experimented with different ways of restoring health chunks during most of our events. Overall, our community has welcomed the addition of more ways to restore lost or burned health chunks, but there have been times when we overshot the mark. We want players to have a chance to come back during a mission, rather than feeling pushed to extract without a bounty token.
Yeah, you should get pushed to go for the bounty and not to extract. But I don't know if the way to do that is necessarily with health bar packs everywhere that give all your bars back. Actually, you know what? Somebody, I forget who it was, but somebody had an idea. I think it was Hira. Somebody had an idea where, you know, the retaliation bonus that we get right now. Let's say somebody kills me and then I res and I kill them back and then loot them. That gives me points to get my bars back at the menu. How about if that happens, instead of the retaliation points, it just gives me my bars back?
Peacekeeper is the best example of where we got the balance wrong on restoring health chunks. Restoring lost health chunks was too easy, and giving the ability to revive Red Skull teammates went too far, opening the door for exploits and frustratingly long stalemates, especially with fights away from the boss layers.
I guess, wait. Well, I guess that wouldn't that the Peacekeeper thing? Wouldn't that might be the Peacekeeper thing all over again, wouldn't it? That's sort of where the issue with Peacekeeper comes in, right? How do you stop that Peacekeeper thing where people just purposely kill each other over and over? Cap the XP you get? Maybe, yeah.
Tread far more carefully whenever a mechanic is considered that reduces the penalty of dying repeatedly.
Red Skull Revive was the bigger issue that with Peacekeeper. Okay, but what I'm saying is when you die to somebody and then revive and kill them back and loot their body, right now you get trait points so that you can go get your bars back for free at the menu. But instead of that, how about it just gives you your bars back? But how do you stop people from exploiting that is the question.
To the point of Red Skull markers. We hope that you enjoyed some of the insights from this retrospective and how we try to find a balance between sentiment, surveys, and data, which don't always align on the surface. We'll be back soon with insights on our August relaunch and what to expect from it.
Ours had nothing to do with Peacekeeper exploit. It was people farming, XP farming, wasn't it? Well, I mean, the reason they were able to do that so much was because of the, because they got their bars back. Wasn't it like 2 solos and they would just constantly Red Skull res and kill each other? Or not Red Skull res. They would constantly self res. One guy would loot the other person to get his bar back. Then that guy would res, kill them. That person would loot them, which gives them their bar back. Then this person would res, then kill that person, loot them, get their bar back, and they could just do that forever and ever and ever, constantly trading bars and dying over and over and over and over. That was the problem. I'm still not completely sold on all of this. I don't know. It leaves me cautious, just based off of what I've seen myself in spectating all the cheaters we've caught and what they're now saying. I don't know. We'll see. All we can do is wait and see what else they do, and we'll see how it turns out. So thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the video, hit the like button and subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you on the next one.